Hey guys, it's Editing Lib here. Before the episode starts, well, first of all, right now I sound kind of quiet because my throat really hurts. I might have to boost my volume in post actually. But just letting you know that this episode was filmed a long time ago. Like it was filmed maybe like you guys are seeing this on Monday the 17th of October. This was filmed before October. I think this was filmed like September, like the last week of September. So that's why we didn't talk about the ending of She-Hulk in our TV show segment. And some of the stuff we said, is outdated now because because it was filmed so long ago. Sorry there hasn't been an episode in a really long time. If you haven't been checking the socials, then you'll know that Pat unfortunately caught COVID-19, and then at the same time, it was Thanksgiving weekend for us in Canada. So we couldn't record, and I couldn't edit because of Thanksgiving, and we couldn't record because of Pat having COVID. So this episode was delayed by quite a bit. And don't worry, Pat has since recovered. Everything's fine. Nothing bad happened. It was just 2 weeks of staying home. So I'm sure you're all wondering about what's happening with Spooktober. I'm gonna clear your worries if you have any. Spooktober is still happening. It'll just extend into November. We're just gonna do it in November. Spooktober will get interrupted by the release of Black Panther Wakanda Forever because we're gonna review it as right after we watch it. But there will be 5 episodes of Spooktober, 5 for every Monday where it would have come out in October. There will be 5 episodes of scary movies. It will still call it Spooktober, but it'll probably happen in like November and December. But we will do 5 scary movies, and don't worry, on December we will also do a Christmas movie like we did last year. Nothing's changing, it's just getting delayed a bit. But yeah, all that long-winded explanation away, let's talk about Hot Fuzz. Hello and welcome to the 38th episode of Fresh Off the Reel. My name is Lib.
My name is Justice.
and today we're continuing a trilogy that we started 34 episodes ago.
Yeah. I think literally a year ago.
Yeah, actually. No, it was the first episode of Spooktober, so it couldn't have been. Maybe a week from now will be a
Yeah,
year.
almost a year ago.
So we talked about Shaun of the Dead in episode 4. Great movie, bad review. But we're finally back to continue Edgar Wright's Cornetto trilogy. We're doing the second movie now, 2007's Hot Fuzz. Oh, 2007. The movie feels a lot newer than 2007.
Yeah, it doesn't like it. I'm not gonna call it timeless because it's only like 15 years old,
Yeah.
right? but like Edgar Wright does a good job at like making movies like not age. If that makes sense.
Kind of makes sense.
Like if Hot Fuzz released today as is unchanged, it wouldn't like feel weird. Like, it wouldn't. There's nothing that dates to the movie too harshly. At least I don't think at the top of my head.
There's no jokes that date it. There's not even music that dates it.
Yeah, no, there's nothing really. I like all the jokes like landed pretty well. There's no like set pieces or anything that like would date the movie. The jokes don't date it. It could come out today and it wouldn't. It would be pretty accepted the same way. I think.
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
Really, really great movie. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, good movies tend to have that quality. A movie's good when it could come out at any point in time and it still be appreciated for what it is, right?
Yeah, so let's talk cinema. So Hot Fuzz it's a buddy cop film that parodies other buddy cop movies in a really interesting way. Let's read the plot synopsis here. This is on Letterboxd. We were making fun of this tagline earlier. Big cops, small town, moderate violence.
It sure does.
As a former London constable, Nicholas Angel finds it difficult to adapt to his new assignment in the sleepy British village of Sanford. Not only does he miss the excitement of the big city, but he also has a well-meaning oaf of a partner. However, when a series of grisly accidents rock Sanford, Angel smells something rotten in the idyllic village. So it's like it's a mystery film kind of.
Yeah, I don't want to, because we watched the movie together like a week ago. Oh, not even actually, not even a week. But I don't want to call it a whodunit, because the movie doesn't like try to surprise you with who the killer is. It doesn't like it's a mystery that you have to figure out, but it's not a whodunit mystery, you know. But it's a good mystery.
The movie makes it pretty obvious who the main bad guy is. It's James Bond.
Yep. And like the whole movie, you're kind of like meant not to trust anybody to begin with, right? So like when all these layers start to come undone, you're not like surprised, you know? You're like, yeah, like that checks out. Like that guy's an asshole, you know?
Yeah. Right away you get like some of the weirdness because as soon as Sean Penn
Yes, Sean Penn.
as Simon Pegg, Pat was making that joke the whole fucking movie. As soon as Simon Pegg makes it to the town and he like joins the neighborhood watch, there's already some of the weird stuff happening because all these people are complaining about is this living statue guy, like one of these street performers is doing a living statue.
This living statue, and then this swan that's on the loose. The big crime of the city is a flock of swan who got loose.
Yeah.
And there's one specific swan that they can't catch. And who would have fucking thought that swan was the Chekhov's gun of the movie? Actual insanity.
It is.
But anyway.
This movie, in true Edgar Wright fashion, you got stuff that's at the very beginning of the movie that turns out to be really important for the ending. Going back to the living statue, you find his dead body later in the movie.
Yeah, everything kind of comes back. There's like a joke early in the movie because like when I'm not say Sean Pegg, Simon Pegg joins the police force. Like they go to a bar, right? And like he's the only one there who has like his gun on him, and everyone's like why you all like suited up and shit, and then you never know you might get into a fight, and the two detectives are just like, oh, everyone's packing, everyone and their grandma. And then when you go back to like the action sequence at the end of the movie, literally everybody pulls out fucking assault rifles and heavy artillery. Yeah, it's really good. There's a lot of little jokes like that we'll talk about throughout the course of the review.
Yeah, it's just like what we said for our Shaun of the Dead review, that a lot of things just repeat themselves in this movie, but it's not annoying or anything. Like the running jokes are really clever. Like there's one part where I think it's either the same bar scene or the one right after where they ask him why he wears a stab-proof vest, and he's like, "I've been stabbed before. I don't want it to happen again." But throughout the movie, as Simon Pegg like adapts to living in the village, he takes it off. He doesn't wear it anymore, and then later he gets stabbed.
Yep. And the obvious thing happens in that moment too. It's like before that, he has like a notebook in his pocket where he eventually gets stabbed, and it's like, oh look, he got protected.
Yeah. So let's talk about the characters, because this movie has a lot of them, and they're all really, really good and really funny. Yeah. So Simon Pegg's character, it's Nicholas Angel. I said it like 2 minutes ago, and I didn't remember the.
Name. He's like the no nonsense cop character that you see in all these like action movies. Like he's like the diehard. He's the bad boys. He's the guy, you know, in all these cop movies. He does a good job at like parodying those archetypes well, I think. It's weird seeing Simon Pegg be in this like uber serious role, you know?
Yeah, because it like in Shaun of the Dead and in Paul
and in World's End, he's not a joke per se, but he's not as serious as he is in this movie. Like in this one, he really is like no nonsense at all. We have a mission, we have a job, and that's all I care about, right? And it's part of his character. That's why his wife leaves him. Like they integrate that well into this character story.
Yeah, because he's like he doesn't know how to switch off, is what everybody keeps saying in the movie.
Yep.
And then he gets paired up with the complete opposite of him, Nick Frost, Danny Butterman.
Danny Butterman. Yeah.
Butterman. I think he's like probably my favorite character in the movie.
I think of the Cornetto trilogy, this is my favorite Nick Frost character. He's not in. I mean, he's in Shaun of the Dead a lot, but like he doesn't have as much screen presence in Shaun of the Dead as he does here. And I don't like The World's End too much. So I don't really care about him there either. But I think this is his best like character in this trilogy. He's really fun, and he plays a pretty integral part to the story too. He's not just the sidekick. Usually, this character, sorry, this character would be the sidekick in these kinds of movies, but he's not. He actually like plays a pretty big role. He's involved kind of in the big twist at the end. He's cool. He's a lot of fun.
Yeah, because he's the son of the police chief of Sanford. God, why was that so hard to say?
Police chief of Stanford. There you go.
No,
Okay.
Sandford.
Stanford.
So there's no T. It's Sandford. Police chief of Sandford.
Okay.
Oh, that's so... The son of the police chief of Sandford... Whatever. So later on, when the big twist happens, and he comes up and he's like, but he's my dad, I can't kill him.
I can't. And then like the dad's motivation is because his mom, well, like his wife, and then Nick Frost's mom died. And like it's neat. They kind of make you care about this character a lot. You spend a lot of time with him, and he's not annoying either. At least I don't think so.
No, I don't think he's annoying at all.
I think he's meant to be like for Angel, he's meant to be annoying, but they have this cute little bromance. They blossoms like halfway through the movie, and it's super sweet. They're best friends.
You know who is annoying? The two detectives.
Oh, but I love them. They're so good.
I love them too, but man, they're insufferable.
Well, they're supposed to be.
I get it. I get they're supposed to be, but
What are their name? Oh yeah, it's Andy, right? They're both named Andy.
yeah, they're the Andes.
Yeah, that's it. They're the Andes. They're fun though. Like they're a lot of fun.
They are a lot of fun. They're not involved in the like the conspiracy in Sanford. The movie leads you to believe that they are.
Yeah, you're meant to like believe that everybody in the department is kind of either like part of the bad guys, or like they know about it and they're turning a blind eye. And there's even like a twist with Nick Frost's character, and near the end when Angel confronts the neighborhood watch, who's actually a fucking cult.
Yeah, it's actually a cult. They have chants and shit.
Nick Frost like comes in for like a shot, and you're meant to believe that he's on their side, but no, a big twist. They're still best buddies.
There's so many twisties in this movie.
There's so many twists. There's so many like fun visual gags that come up later. There's one I really want to talk about when we get there. We haven't gone to that character yet, but yeah, like it's funny.
I said a joke about James Bond earlier. It's because Timothy Dalton is in this movie. He plays his name's Skinner. He owns the like grocery store in Sanford, and he's the main like bad guy. Like you like it's really obvious from the beginning. Like the first thing that he says to Simon Pegg when he meets him, like I can't remember exactly the line, but he's like,
yeah, when he walks onto the scene, he's like, "You arrest me! I've committed a murder." I think I'm a slasher or something like that. I slash prices.
Yeah, a slasher of prices.
Yeah, like that says his intro joke.
And he keeps making jokes like that the whole movie.
he makes dad jokes, but he's also a serial killer.
Yeah, and he's James Bond also.
And he's James Bond. It took Lib half the movie to put the two and two together for that one.
He's only in 2 of the James Bond movies, right? He's like, I know he's
Your
in
Majesty's Secret Service. No, isn't he in like Your Majesty's Secret Service, or is that that's the one-off one?
No, that's the one-off. Timothy Dalton is in The Living Daylights and License to Kill, and maybe another one. Oh, let me look. I have Letterboxd open. No, he's not in any of the other ones. He's just in those 2. He's in Toy Story. Okay. Wait, hold on. Rabbit hole. Who is he in Toy Story? Mr. Pricklepants. Who's Mr. Pricklepants?
Is it like the pink bear in Toy Story 3?
No, no. It's the porcupine that what's the girl's name? Emily?
I don't
The
remember.
little porcupine bear thing. Yeah, wait, if I show you a picture, you'll know him. That's Timothy Dalton.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Look at that. All right, back to the movie. Yeah, Timothy Dalton's character is like he's really like mischievous and mysterious, and he's at the scene of every crime, but he's always got an alibi. And there's this scene near the end where like the entire police department like raids the store and like confronts him, being like, you're the murderer, we know it, we could connect you to each murder. And like the whole scene I think is like a parody of like Sherlock Holmes, because I don't know if you ever seen the original Sherlock Holmes show, but whenever there's like the big accusation, it's like 20 minutes long and there's like 50 jump cuts and there's flashbacks. It's really funny.
This has a lot of stuff like that too.
Yeah.
A lot of quick cuts, a lot of gratuitous action to parody other action movies, but we'll get there.
Well, then the rest of the characters are just like the members of the neighborhood watch.
Yeah, and the police department. Like Olivia Colman is in this movie. She's not in it too much. Honestly, I kind of like you kind of forget that she's in it because she's in like the first, I want to say like 30 minutes, and then you don't see her again until the end, and her only purpose is to make jokes about women in the workforce. But at the beginning, they're negative jokes, and at the end, they're positive jokes because she helps out. It's called development, folks. But there's one member of the police force I want to talk about because he was really funny, and it's Kevin Eldon's character. He's Tony Fisher, the sergeant.
Yeah. Oh
the,
yeah.
the incompetent sergeant character that's in all these movies. And like there's like a visual joke at the beginning of the movie where like he's standing in front of like a whiteboard and like he's like it's a circle of like insults with him in the middle. So it's stuff like rude, disloyal, inefficient, lack of leadership skills. And then he's in the middle, ironically, and that's the joke, right? But like all those words are like written in blue except for lack of leadership skills, which is in a different color. But at the end of the movie, he takes charge and leads the team during like the final assault. So he gained leadership skills, and like he kind of turns that joke on its head. It's a really clever use of visual humor that Edgar Wright does super well, and it's one of my favorite examples in this movie, at least.
Because the whole movie, he keeps going to like to Angel, and he's like, "What should we do? We should." Da, 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 da. He says this whole thing, and he's like, "All right, what he said." That's him the whole movie, pretty much, until the very end, where he just suddenly leads an army.
Yeah, he finds like the motivation, kind of. It's a cool moment for like a basically nothing character. The whole police force is kind of meant like to be comic relief, and you're not supposed to take them seriously.
There's one character where he's like really old and you can't really understand what he's saying. Like he mumbles everything. He's the best character, best cop. Oh no, best cop's the dog.
The dog is best boy.
The dog is best boy. Unfortunately, he's not credited, so we don't remember his name. Anyone out there, if you know the name of the dog, send it to us.
It's like the actual dog.
Yeah, the actual dog.
The dog might not be around anymore, Lib. I'm sorry.
I know, but I want to know the name. I want to see if that dog is in other movies.
There's like another running gag in this movie with the swans, like we mentioned earlier, right? Where like they keep mentioning this like loose goose, like they keep mentioning it, and we keep seeing it throughout the movie. Like Angel will be on a chase to find a bad guy, a criminal, and the camera will pan, and then the swan will just be there. And then at the end of the movie, the swan comes back. The swan gets the villain. He gets Timothy Dalton.
He saves the day. The swan
he does
saves
indeed
the day.
Saves the. It's just really funny.
And there's a lot of swan imagery in the movie. Like in the hotel that Simon Pegg is staying at, there's swans like everywhere. The whole village is like covered in pictures of swans. I don't know what the fuck is this village's obsession with swans, but this swan's pretty important. And Stephen Merchant makes a cameo in this movie.
He
Uh,
does.
just to like add to the swan joke, because like the first time he gets the call, it's like there's a swan on the loose, we have to go find it, and he thinks it's a joke, like he thinks it's that they're pranking the police department. He's like, oh really, there's a swan on the loose. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess we gotta go find it.
There's another like joke at the beginning of the movie that's made that I like a lot. It's when Angel first comes to Stanton,
Sandford.
Sanford. I'm gonna call it Scranton at some point. I'm just gonna roll with it when I do. Um, it's when he meets like the hotel clerk,
Oh yeah.
and he's like, "Oh, I'm Joyce Cooper," and he's like introducing herself, fascist, and then Angel's like, "Oh, I'll find my room on my own, hag." And she's like, "I'll beg your pardon, evil woman, considered frightful or ugly. It's 12 down." And you're talking about like the crossword puzzle, but at the end of the movie, she ends up being a villain. She's an evil woman, and they have that hag fascist exchange again at the end. But at that point of the movie, it's not crossword; it's genuine because he's British and she's a villain.
It's so good.
It's a like I like it- it's like a funny joke when you first hear it, just in the moment, because oh, they're talking about crossword puzzle, and then when it comes back later and like it all connects together, it's so funny. This movie has so many good jokes.
And the best part about this movie is that it actually lays out an actual mystery that you can solve. Like there's hints and clues that you could pick up on. Like the biggest ones are like whenever he's at like the dépanneur, the whatever, the corner shop, and the owner of the shop is like talking on the walkie-talkie to the members of the neighborhood watch.
Yeah,
The like those lines usually have like a little hint, and like it was a surprise to me that it was everyone at the neighborhood watch. I thought it was Timothy Dalton, but I was like, oh, that might be a fake out, and it might actually be the police chief. But I was right on both because it's all of the neighborhood watch.
yeah, it's the entire neighborhood watch.
And then, like they
Um,
tried like recruiting Simon Pegg and Nick Frost into the neighborhood watch. And like Nick Frost didn't know that they were doing like evil shit. He just thought it was like a club that his dad goes to.
yeah, and then like shit would happen, and he would just never question it. Like he wouldn't like not that he wouldn't do his job, like he was naive. You know, he just didn't think about things more than once. He took everything at face value. So when like it all comes together in the end, he's like, "Oh shit! I was under my nose the whole time."
And then he
Whoa.
pretends to have known the whole time, and he kidnaps Angel.
Yeah, to give him an escape.
Yeah, to give him an escape. After that point, the whole movie is just like a super long action sequence. It's so good. Like the choreography is perfect.
The last act is genuinely like one of my favorite action sequences in any movie ever. It's so good. The setup leading into that action sequence is fantastic, and then the payoff at the end is so good. Like all that action just really ties together in such a neat and fun way, and it all uses stuff that's like established in the movie. Like earlier in the movie when they find like this big bomb that they think is gonna go off.
Yeah, it's like there's like a mumbling old guy, and they have to translate it with their mumbling old guy.
Yeah. Like we see the bomb be put away in like the weapons locker, and we see all the weapons, and that's it. We move on. But that ends up being where Nick gets Nick Frost. No, where Sean Penn, where Sean Penn gets his weapons later in the movie, and that bomb also comes back to where it actually like it ends up being live because we're told it's deactivated, but it ends up actually being live, and it blows up the police station, and we think it kills Nick Frost. There's a whole fake out with a tombstone and everything, but nope. They gotcha. They got one last gotcha at the end, you know?
Yeah. And what's really funny is that like bomb explosion and everything that happens after the ending, quote unquote.
Yeah.
That happens after
basically.
you think the movie's over. So you think the movie's over, and then you see the police department is actually working properly and everybody's doing their job. It's like, oh, look at that, happy ending. Nope, the bomb explodes.
Yep.
It's just subverting expectation. That's what Edgar Wright does, and he does it so well. And if you remember, I don't remember exactly which episode it was, but Pat recommended me Last Night in Soho at one point, and we were talking about how in that movie, that whole like subverting expectation, everything, works really well at some points and doesn't really work at other points. Like the twist villain in Last Night in Soho, I didn't see that coming. That was good. But then you got like some other stuff in Last Night in Soho. Like there was the whole thing about how the main character thought that the killer was someone else, and she kept like pursuing this old guy, and it ultimately led to nothing. Like that I don't know if that was the point of it, or like that whole sequence didn't really lead up to anything. Like the old man dies and that's it. In this
Yeah.
movie, everything has a purpose. Every single thing that you see on screen has a purpose. It's like the last half is like the opposite of the first half, but at the same time it's a mirror of the first half. It's
Well, I
done
think
really
like
well.
I think the case in like Last Night in Soho is the guy just dies and you're meant to move on. As like you were wrong, like it's over, right? But in this movie, like the whole movie is literally like set up and built up for the action sequence at the end. It's kind of nuts.
And that action sequence is so funny. The entire town just has heavy artillery and military weapons and shit like that.
It's so funny.
It would have been really funny if a tank showed up. That would have been really funny.
That's like the big thing at the end is just a giant tank.
Instead of like, because at the end, the priest of the town, the reverend, he has like heavy artillery as well and everything. It would have been really funny if he showed up in a tank at the end of the fight. Oh man, that would have been perfect. Edgar Wright, make a different cut where you add that in.
The tank cut.
The tank cut of Hot Fuzz. Exact same movie, there's just a tank. The ending, like the actual ending, where he like where like the cops from the beginning, they come back and they're like, "Oh, we need you back in the city." And he's like, "You know what? I think I'll stay here."
Yeah, he he goes to the town like not wanting to be there. It's not enough action for him, but he finds his home.
Yeah, and it's like, wow, cliche ending, right? But then the bomb explodes and everything. And he finally gets that house at the beginning. Oh yeah, because at the beginning they mentioned like, oh well, we have you a house. It's all ready and it's furnished and everything, and we're ready have you move in. And then like 2 minutes later, it's like, oh actually, never mind. The house is not ready yet. And then he has to live in a hotel for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, yeah. The movie takes place over like a couple days, but
yeah,
he gets his house at the end. Everything in this movie that's established early comes back in some way.
it all gets wrapped up really neatly.
I don't have anything negative to say about this movie, really.
Yeah.
Which like I didn't give it 5 out of 5. We didn't go over our scores. I gave it 4. I gave it 4.5 out of 5.
I also gave it 4.5.
But like I can't think of like negative things to say, right? Like I've heard a couple people say that like they didn't find it funny, which is fair because like what makes you laugh is subjective, right? But like I thought this movie was hilarious at times, and like, it was always funny, or if not downright hilarious. I think the performances here are super solid. This is my favorite Edgar Wright movie. I don't know if I said this yet.
This is your favorite?
This is my favorite Edgar Wright movie.
My favorite Edgar Wright movie is still
Baby Driver.
Baby Driver. Yeah, I couldn't think of the name.
Yeah, no, I think this is my favorite Edgar Wright movie. I think this is his best work still. Whether you agree with that or not is up to opinion. But I love this movie. But yeah, I got nothing negative to really say. It's a fun watch. Even if you don't know what's gonna happen going into it, I think it's something you'll still enjoy. I mean, just go watch it if for some reason you haven't seen it. This is the best of the Cornetto trilogy, at least in my opinion. Lib, you haven't seen World's End yet, right?
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, this is Lib's first time watching this, by the way.
Yeah, this was my first time watching, and it was a really fun watch. It was really, really, really fun. I mean, I think like the Cornetto trilogy is just such a funky, weird trilogy, but it's great. There's a lot of like connections between all three of them. Like they're not sequels to each other; they're all separate.
No, but there's Easter eggs to each other.
There's Easter eggs to each other, and like all of them have like similar themes. Obviously, like The World's End is about bar hopping, but they all have bar scenes, you know.
Yeah, but it's also a movie. There's stuff in that movie. It's not just about bar hopping.
All of the Cornetto trilogy movies have bar scenes. They all have like corner shops where they get cornettos.
It also kind of feels like they're at the same, like the bars feel like they're at the same bar in every movie too.
Yeah,
It's
I was
not.
saying, I was
They're in
thinking
different
that.
locations, but it feels that way, right? Like when you're in there, it feels like you're. It's familiar. It's inviting.
Like, cause I was remembering like when we were watching Hot Fuzz, and I was like, this looks a lot like the bar from Shaun of the Dead, the bar at the ending.
And it's probably not, but there's definitely like the vibe is supposed to be the same, right?
Yeah. Speaking of the cornetto, this one's the chocolate cornetto. I don't know if the flavors matter. Like maybe they do. Like maybe there's like some kind of hidden Easter egg, but I couldn't think of them.
There might be, honestly, there just might be some kind of Easter egg.
Cause I know like the obvious Easter egg in the first one, because the first one's cherry or strawberry, and it's like obviously that's blood because it's a zombie movie. This one's chocolate brown. What could
Poop.
poop? That's the joke.
Because everybody in this movie stinks.
And in the third one, it's mint, I think, mint or pep, like or like pistachio or something like that. That's green, and like World's End, green, like they're bar hopping. It's like what's it called? The four-leaf clover holiday. I forgot what it's called.
St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Is this St. Patrick's Day in the movie?
No, I don't. I actually don't remember, but I don't think so.
But maybe the flavors do matter, but I don't know. Knowing Edgar Wright, it probably does matter.
It probably does. Edgar Wright's great at piecing things together like this.
I mean, we don't call them cornettos over here. They're Klondike cones here.
That's not as fun to say.
Yeah, Klondike cone. Wah. Not as fun as this is the Klondike cone trilogy. Oh my god. What the fuck is wrong with me today? I can't speak.
It's okay, Lib. It's for the greater good.
Yeah. Good joke. Like they say that at the beginning with at the bar scene, because there's a bunch of minors drinking at the bar. Don't drink, minors. We're not condoning this. And the owners of the bar, who are part of the, like, they're a husband and wife, and they're part of the neighborhood watch. And they're like, oh, but it's better that they're in here rather than out there causing mischief and everything. It's for the greater good. And that's like the whole theme of the neighborhood watch, because the reason why they're killing all these people that like bring down the like score of the town is because they always want to win the town of the year award or the village of the year award.
They just kill off anybody who makes it even slightly possible they're not going to win town of the year. Just like a little bit, like, oh, this person's yard is like has a grass that's too tall, kill him. That's like the logic in this movie.
Oh, you want to move out? Killing
you.
Yeah,
we have to kill you because you know too much. What you were amazing in our town. What if you bring your amazingness to another town and they steal our town of the year?
Yeah, that's the reason why they kill the owner of the flower shop. Because she was gonna move out, and like, oh, we don't want you to take your amazingness somewhere besides Sanford.
Scranton.
Scranton, Pennsylvania. So you die.
That's it. It's over.
So just the whole reason all of this movie even happens is because the neighborhood watch really wants to keep the town of the year award. And then at the end, the like judges for the town of the year show up, and they see all this death and destruction that happened because it's after the big final fight, and they're like actually scoring it. It's really funny. Like, oh, this building is destroyed. That's minus 10 points.
Remove 10 points. The town is in fact not perfect.
Speaking of the final fight, somehow everybody survives it.
Yeah, nobody died. Nobody dies.
Nobody died. People get impaled, shot in the chest.
Yeah, during the action sequence, yeah. There is a lot of gratuitous violence in this movie. There's like this one part where like they cut like not a cone, but like a sharp cone off the top of a building, and it falls and it lands right on somebody's head, point first. Well, like, it's gross.
Yeah, their head explodes. That was the newspaper guy, and his name was Messenger.
Yeah.
And you know, don't kill the messenger, you know?
Yeah, there it is. Some reference. And there's also like when they kill the flower lady, they kill her with her shears.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of also like these murders aren't planned, they just kind of happen.
Yeah, it's just if there's anything that the Neighborhood Watch thinks will bring down the score of the village for the Village of the Year award, they just kill him.
Yep.
And they hide the body like underneath the church. And there's this scene where when Simon Pegg is trying to escape, where we see all the dead people, and then you see the living statue is there. They got to him. We didn't even see him die. They just eventually stopped talking about him in the movie, and then like you see his dead body there, and he died like in the pose of the statue somehow.
It's great. like he was in character doing the pose as he was dead, and he just stayed that way. It's dedication. Actors be damned.
It's such a freaking thrill ride of a film, and I loved every minute of it. I don't know what it was that didn't make me push for the 5-star, because I don't really have anything negative to say, so I don't know why I didn't give it 5 stars.
Yeah, I don't know what it is either, because this is like one of my favorite movies ever made, and it's my favorite Edgar Wright movie, who's my favorite director. So like it has all the setup for like a 5, but I don't know what it is. I just can't give it that like 0.5, and I don't know what it is, and it's gonna bother me now. Because I'm like, see, cause I'm a believer that like no movie is perfect, right? But I still give 5 stars to certain movies because like I love them so much, and I love this movie so much. But I don't know what it is that keeps me from giving it that 5.
I don't know. It's something psychological.
Yeah, but it's really good. It's fantastic. If you haven't seen it, please do. Like it's great.
Yeah, this is a high recommendation from both of us.
Yeah,
Like,
if you haven't seen the Cornetto trilogy in general, please watch them.
Oh yeah. And speaking of the trilogy, who knows when we'll talk about The World's End?
Yeah, hopefully sooner rather than later. But
we're planning, like, here, I'm gonna say it on the podcast, and it's not gonna happen because everything we say on here never happens. But we're planning on doing it after Spooktober, which, by the way, we're bringing it back.
We're bringing back Spooktober. We'll talk more about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after backlogs. But yeah, we're bringing back Spooktober. Be excited for that. But after Spooktober is over, we're planning on doing the ending of the Cornetto trilogy, ending it with The World's End, and then maybe in that same episode we'll give them a ranking and we'll say why.
Yep, we'll also eventually be doing Baby Driver as well. We've already talked about Last Night in Soho, so I don't know if we're gonna do that again, but we're definitely gonna be doing Baby Driver at some point.
Yeah, we said a while ago that I think we said in the Shaun of the Dead episode that we're planning on reviewing every Edgar Wright movie. We were gonna do it in order, but then we lost track, and then we just didn't do Hot Fuzz, and then did Last Night in Soho instead because that was new at the time. So hopefully we'll have done The World's End after Spooktober, and then we'll move on to Baby Driver, and then we'll do Scott Pilgrim. Well, Scott Pilgrim first, then Baby Driver.
Scott Pilgrim is first.
Yeah, then Baby Driver. We're probably not going to dedicate an episode to Last Night in Soho, but we might mention it in passing. There is another Edgar Wright movie called Grindhouse that I don't think either of us have never seen. What's really interesting is that earlier today, Pat and I were like, we should review a Tarantino movie. And what's funny is that Grindhouse has 5 directors. One of them is Edgar Wright, and one of them is Tarantino.
Maybe, and it's a horror movie.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe. Spooktober might go longer than we originally planned.
Well, Grindhouse it's apparently two movies put together. So
it's 3 hours 11 minutes. Ooh,
yeah,
okay.
It's 2 movies put together.
Interesting. Rosario Dawson's in this movie. Kurt Russell's in this movie.
Yeah, Mary Elizabeth
Quentin
Winstead.
Tarantino is in this movie. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say who he plays because that's a character.
Wait, where is he?
So look up the cast for Grindhouse.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. This looks good. I'm gonna watch this.
Yeah,
Oh, Grindhouse is Planet Terror and then Death Proof. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay. I may have to check this out.
It's a duology. It's like Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's pretty much it for Hot Fuzz. That was a quick review. It felt quick. But yeah, we're good for. Yeah, I can't speak today. Great movie. Watch it if you haven't seen it. Watch the Cornetto trilogy if you haven't seen it, and watch all of Edgar Wright's other movies because they're all fantastic. Like they're all great. But now we're gonna move on to talk about a TV show that we have been watching a bit of. Andor started airing last week, and we watched the 3 premiere episodes, and they're really, really good.
The next episode is tomorrow at the time of recording, right?
Yes. Oh, it could be today actually. Hold on, let me check.
I don't think it was today because I didn't see anything about it on Twitter. So
Twitter man, always on Twitter. It was today.
Twitter lied to me, so I guess we could, depending on when what I'm doing later ends, maybe we could watch Andor later.
Yeah, but the first 3 episodes of Andor, it makes sense that they premiered 3 episodes at once because all 3 of them tell like one story pretty much, which is just like the beginning of Andor, because Andor is going to be a 12 episode. Season 1 is 12 episodes, and there's confirmed a season 2 with another 12 episodes, totaling 24 episodes in total. So they're really giving this show the Mandalorian treatment, and this is what I've been. I think this is what I've found, because we've said before that Mandalorian feels like a fluke because it's so good, and all of the other Star Wars shows are terrible. But I think it has to be that the shows that the creators have more faith in make them longer, and those are the shows that hit, right? The Mandalorian, Andor, Clone Wars, you know.
I really hope if Andor sticks the landing, then the Mandalorian is no longer a fluke.
Yeah, because let's be honest, Obi-Wan Kenobi did not stick the landing.
But to be honest, Obi-Wan Kenobi wasn't good. It was fine.
It was fine at best. Like, it was good in the moment, but then after you grow on it, it's like, yeah, it really wasn't everything it should have been, you know?
Yeah, I think once you get past the, like, oh fuck, Vader's fighting Obi-Wan again, this is so cool, like, the hype you get from that, once you're past that, and you think about the show for what it is, it's not great. And that's kind of how I feel about all of, like, Disney Plus, the Disney Plus shows, at least the Star Wars and Marvel ones.
Yeah.
Except The Mandalorian, which has been fantastic. But now Andor, if Andor continues, if they keep up the momentum and sticks the landing, Andor might be up there with The Mandalorian.
Yeah, and even Andor, like, even has the like space western vibes that The Mandalorian has. So far with the 3 episodes that we have, and the 4th one's already up, but we haven't seen it yet. We'll get back to you on that next week. But so far, this show is like top notch. It's the 2nd best Star Wars Disney Plus show, but that's because all the other ones are not that great, and the best one's The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
But just from those 3 episodes alone, I could tell this show is gonna be great. I think it's gonna stick the landing.
I'm excited for episode 4, which you may or may not watch today.
Yep. Another show that I finished watching since last episode is I finished Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Yep, I finished it before we recorded last episode, but now we have both finished it. We could talk briefly about it. I think I said what I felt last time. I think it's really good. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to add. I just finished editing the the episode where we talked about Edge Runners, and everything you said, I pretty much think the exact same thing. I saw online that a lot of people said that the ending made them cry. Ending didn't make me cry. I mean, it was a good ending.
Yeah, I think the ending is really good. I think the ending is very sad, but it didn't make me cry. Just because I think the ending is obvious, right?
If the show was longer and I got more attachment to the characters, maybe it would have made me shed a tear. But it's only 8 episodes, so it's not enough time to grow attached to characters, I think.
I became attached to them. I saw it coming.
Yeah, I think yeah, I think I saw it coming too, but it still kind of caught me off guard, and it's a really great ending. Like I said in the last episode that the music is really good, but that was just I've only seen the first episode. Now I've seen the whole show. The music is top notch. Like
Yeah, music's great.
it's
Music is
so
great.
good. I want like let me see who composed it. I think Edge Runners is on Letterboxd. Yep, it is.
The JoJo's music is also on Spotify.
Uh,
This is the rest of Cyberpunk soundtrack, which is generally pretty great.
it's Akira Yamaoka who did the soundtrack for the Silent Hill movies. Okay. And interesting. His name's Akira. I know that. But like it doesn't connect to the video game, but that's understandable. I mean, Cyberpunk the video game doesn't connect to the original source material, which is a role-playing game akin to Dungeons and Dragons. So it's called Cyberpunk Red. It's called so. Yeah, if you didn't know, Cyberpunk 2077 is a video game adaptation of the Cyberpunk Red board game.
Yeah, I think you told me this before, and I forgot.
Yeah, but Edge Runners feels more like the board game than it does the video game, but that's a good thing. I mean, like it's a really good show. It's probably my favorite anime, which is not saying a lot for me. From me, it's not saying a lot because I haven't seen a lot. I haven't seen most. I've only seen three, but yeah, that's Edge Runners. And lastly, and definitely least, She-Hulk is still going, and I still hate myself. All right, let's move on to Backlogged. This is the segment where we recommend each other movies. And last episode, I recommended Pat Solo: A Star Wars Story purely because it was the only Star Wars movie he hadn't seen, and I couldn't keep going, knowing that he left one movie out. So Pat, tell us what you thought.
Before I watched Solo, I said, and I quote, "This movie is they're not gonna be good. I'm not gonna enjoy it, and it's gonna be a stupid waste of time." I have now seen it. I watched all 2 hours and 15 minutes of it, or whatever it is. It was stupid and a waste of time. This entire movie exists to explain away the "Oh, and I'm so fast" line from the original trilogy. Like it exists for that very specific fucking purpose, and it serves no other use to the story. Nothing at all. It did not need to be 2 hours. If the movie was just the fucking just the Kessel Run scene, if it was just that like 3 minute scene, would you gain anything else? No. But the whole movie exists to explain the Kessel Run thing, and that's it. But somehow it stretches for like 2.5 hours. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, they found a way to make it one of the most boring Star Wars movies ever. But it's basically a heist movie on a planetary scale, and it doesn't really stick the landing. But I think it's a good movie.
I don't even think it's a good heist movie. I think there's a heist in it. I think they kind of lose track of that heist, like because like the last act is like not even super related to the heist. It's just like an action sequence.
Yeah, but I gave it 3.5 stars. I like it.
I gave it 2.5. I think the performances are pretty good. Generally, the CG is good. It's Star Wars CG. Star Wars CG tends to be pretty good. The music is good. Like it's a competently put together film with some good performances behind it.
The droid that fights for like droid rights and everything, she's pretty funny.
Yeah, but and like there's definitely worse Star Wars movies than this one, like by a mile. But I think this is the biggest waste of time to watch in a Star Wars movie. Like you leave this movie gaining nothing because it doesn't give you any new insight on Han that you didn't already know, right? Aside from proving his credentials, I guess. But after watching him in like 6 movies or 5 movies technically, you don't need him to prove himself. He already did, right? So aside from like they give Han backstory, but I think the cool part about Han is he doesn't need it, right? Like he's just the cool outlaw that you think he's cool and you follow him. He doesn't need this like emotional backstory with like this love interest who he abandoned and he came back to, but oh, she's actually a villain. Like fuck that. Like I don't care. I like Han because he's cool. Han is cool for the same reasons that Boba Fett is cool. That's my hot take. People like Han because Harrison Ford is charming and they like assholes. Otherwise, he exists to sell toys. Like he doesn't need this big in-depth backstory. And the fact that he gets a movie, but characters like Obi-Wan got this fucking show that's not good, is weird to me. But anyway,
Yeah, well, there you go. That's
I've seen it now. I could say that I've seen every Star Wars movie now. And as a big Star Wars fan, I think that's something I should have been able to say a long time ago. Because I probably should have watched this when it came out. But it's done now. I did it. I don't regret watching it. I just didn't really enjoy my time with it. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not great. That's my sense.
okay. That was a long rant.
That was negative. I'm sorry, but yeah. Solo, a Star Wars movie, more like Boro. Like I'm bored. A Star Wars film.
First he shits on my favorite Star Wars movie, Rogue One.
I was relatively positive during the review. I shouted off camera, but on camera, I was a good noodle.
You win this time, Pat. But maybe next time.
You're suddenly gonna find all this. You were secretly recording me talk shit about Rogue One, and you're gonna include the footage here.
Yep, here it is. Whoa, it's me, Pat. I watch anime and I drink coffee. And I force people to watch bad movies for my personal entertainment. Hey, did you know Rogue One is really, really bad? I said that, and I think it's true. I think Rogue One's really bad, and Star Wars Episode 9 is the best movie ever created. My name is Pat, and that is true. Bazinga, am I right? No, I don't have any of that.
Imagine.
But... It's just like the Ryan Reynolds thing. Well, we found it. Take a look. Oh, speaking of Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman is coming back.
Yeah, you know what that means, Lib. You know what that means.
I have to finish X-Men.
I have a movie to recommend you, Libertino. This week, I recommend you X-Men First Class.
You're peaking. Oh my god. Yeah, okay, cool. You recommended me X-Men First Class. Awesome. I'm gonna watch that next episode. But let's talk a little bit, okay? Because on Twitter, Ryan Reynolds was just like, "Hey, you know what? I feel kind of bored today. Let me announce a Deadpool 3, and at the same time, let me announce the release date, and at the same time, let me announce that Hugh Jackman is reprising his role as Wolverine in the movie, in the MCU." What?
Well, I mean, it's only gonna be like I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like Multiverse of Madness, or it's gonna be a one-off.
Yeah, probably.
It's not gonna be a cameo. He's gonna be a main character, but it's gonna be a one-off. They also confirmed today. They uploaded another clip today of saying, because like people were asking, because there's something in Logan. If you haven't seen Logan, skip ahead.
Yeah, but Logan takes place in the future.
In the future. So like the events of this movie are not going to affect Logan's ending. A lot of people were freaking out because Logan's ending is very meaningful. It's very important to them, and it's a good way to conclude Hugh Jackman's run as Wolverine. But don't worry, Logan's ending is not being touched. You don't have to worry about any of that. This is going to take place somewhere in the multiverse before the events of Logan. It'll be very fun. Hugh Jackman will finally wear yellow, I hope. Please, for the love of God, wear the yellow suit. Just
like how Lando Calrissian wore yellow in Solo: A Star Wars Story. So like they're saying like Deadpool's introduction to the MCU, and that's what they're hyping up and everything. So I'm assuming after the whole multiverse jump thing that Deadpool is gonna stay in the MCU while Wolverine goes back to his universe.
Yeah.
Is this movie gonna tease mutants in the MCU? Maybe. Well, that's tease already happened. I guess canonically in the MCU, Kamala is the first mutant, but the ending of Miss Marvel is stupid. Did we talk about Miss Marvel? I don't even remember if we did.
We didn't, and I don't feel like it, so...
Well, anyways, thank you so much for watching, listening. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this episode of Fresh Off the Reel. We're finally returning to the Cornetto trilogy. Hopefully, going back later. Tune in next week where we will be bringing back Spooktober. But we have a little like thing we gotta mention here because Spooktober is starting on the second week of October this year because a little schedule mishap happened. Editing lib here. Try third week of October. Yeah, that's. Man, this was recorded a while ago. Okay. But Spooktober is still going to be 5 episodes long. We're not going to shorten it. The last episode of Spooktober will be coming out on the 3rd week of November. And we will be picking a movie that's topical to that, so stay tuned for that. It's an interesting one.
It so happens to have worked out that like one of our very good friends recommended us a movie that fits the end of Halloween and also November.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that because Spooktober is coming back. And hopefully we won't create another worst episode, episode 5.
we can try.
Well, we can try to make an episode worse than episode 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. But next episode, we'll be talking about the original 1931 Dracula to start off Spooktober. Just to get a classic movie, one of the first horror films to really make it big. We might also be talking about a second movie at the same time, but we're not sure yet, so this part might get cut out.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't get cut out, yay! 2 episodes in one! I mean, 2 movies in one episode, yay! So stay tuned for that, coming out next week. 4th week of October. Hell yeah. That's also my birthday month.
Ooh, maybe we'll do something special for Lib's birthday. We'll tie him up in a room and we'll make him watch something spooky.
Damn. But if you don't want to miss that episode, then make sure to check out our Linktree, linktr.ee/fresh-off-the-reel, so you could follow us on our socials and follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, everywhere where you listen to podcasts, including YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube too. You could check us out everywhere, anywhere you listen to your podcast. Also on the Linktree, you'll find the first button that's in the list. Will allow you to fill out a form to recommend us a film or TV show. We'll take that recommendation and we'll make an episode about it. So if you want to recommend us an episode, then make sure to fill out that recommendation. And also on the Linktree, you can find our Letterboxd accounts where we get podcast spoilers, because we update our Letterboxd almost every day. So check it out. We also have lists that we made that you guys can take a look at, recommended movies and stuff. It's a big rabbit hole that you could go down for hours. But with that, that's going to be it. So we'll see all of you in a theater near you. Happy Halloween! Boo! This is definitely not the second sound test.
This is the first test. What do you mean?
Turn off your...
Oh, right, yeah.
Gotta be careful, the drinks will go bad if we take too long. You see, people listening to this for bloopers maybe, Pat has a mini fridge in his room, and we've discovered that the mini fridge is what causes static in his microphone.
We discovered that the mini fridge is terrible, and but it keeps my drinks cold, so... Speaking of cold drinks, ooh. I don't know if you heard that.
I heard a little bit of it.
Oh yeah, that's the stuff.
What is this?
It's one of those hard Arizona iced teas.
Oh, yeah.
There's like barely any alcohol in it, so I wanted an iced tea. This is the closest thing I had to an iced tea.
I have to sneeze. Oh fuck! It's not coming up. It's not coming. I have to sneeze. There we go.
There it is.
Yay! All right, that's good enough. Not the third sound test. Totally.
Not me launching Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel to check something and then close the game.
Why?
This is a test of sound. Did you think I was gonna go somewhere on that topic? No, I'm just opening Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel and I'm closing it.
I do that sometimes for other games.
I want to check if it's still there, you know?
You just make sure it still exists. It's still on my computer.
I wish it was. I mean, I hate this.
What a terrible game. I don't mean
Same. I also don't mean I agree.
So Moon's Daydream came out and apparently it's really good.
I want to watch it.
Me too, I want to watch it. It looks crazy. It looks insane. It looks crazy.
They released a poster for that Weird Al biopic. It's a parody of the Bohemian Rhapsody poster.
Oh my god, wait, I need to see this. Oh, I see it.
Yeah, it's quite funny.
That's quite the parody. Daniel Radcliffe.
I may have even, Keck W'd, if you know what I mean.
Okay. Five. 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 Third. 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 Fourth. 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 Okay, fuck, this joke's too funny.